What's going on, people? Good morning and welcome to DR Sports and welcome to the daily show, the morning show that you're going to get every single morning while we're here out in Qatar. We're going to have the latest news, the latest predictions, where we go through the latest happenings here in Qatar as the World Cup is upon us, man. Absolutely.
It's great to be outside the Khalifa Stadium and we are around about 10 minutes to 10. So back home, this is around 7 a.m. So bright and early for you guys. We're delivering the content for you. So it's ready for when you wake up.
All right, and I'm not going to lie, it is, would you say 10 to 10?
Yes.
And it's hot.
It's hot.
Before we started rolling, I was like, you know what? Weather's all right. It's not too bad. Had to. Obviously, it is to stay protected from the sun. But listen, let's get straight into the news, man. Karim Benzema is out of this World Cup. He has got a left thigh strain and has left the French squad. Now, this is a Ballon d'Or winner, man. This is potentially, not definitely, but there's a high chance it could have been his last World Cup, and he's not going to be in it, man.
Gutting news for himself. 2022 was really supposed to be Karim's year. If you think about the Ballon d'Or, La Liga, Copa del Rey, the Champions League, unfortunately, he beat Liverpool in that as well. But if you're looking at it from a Benzema point of view, you're not only losing a great player, but the leadership, the experience that comes with playing in these big tournaments. And you're probably likely to say now that Giroud gets more of the limelight up front. I mean, there is an opportunity now for France to bring in another player. Could it be Martial?
Well, talking about that, look, from a Man United point of view, I'm not going to lie, I do not want that happening. Martial, he hasn't.
You need him fit, don't you?
We need him fit for the next half of the season. I don't even think he's completed 90 minutes. Did he complete 90 minutes against Fulham? I can't remember if he did. I don't think he did. But he has massive injury problems all year. And to be fair, even from a French perspective, I know they need now just like another body through the door. But even from a France perspective, if I'm Deschamps, I'm looking at it thinking Martial hasn't played that much this year. He's been blighted with injuries. He needs match rhythm. Martial now needs another pre-season, mini pre-season. Do you know what I mean? And I think at a tournament as important, obviously, as this, might not actually be the best time to bring him in. So there's arguments for and against, but obviously from a Man United point of view, I'm going to say leave him where he is, wrap him up, and we've got games against, I think, Cadiz and Betis, so he should be going on a pre-season there.
Yeah, I mean, could he play that substitution Man United role?
He could.
I mean, he's not going to decline the offer, is he? If he gets asked to go,
no way.
Honor, so you
and actually, you know what? The way you put it, having said that, he hasn't played full 90 minutes. So if you're asking him to come in and play 30 minutes or play 60 minutes here or stuff, he could. And on the flip side, you could say playing some competitive games, it'll be like if he was fit in Man United now and the season was just on. Do you know what I mean? But yeah,
if you're looking at it from Deschamps' standpoint, of course you're the holders and you want to retain it. But Kimpembe out, Pogba out,
Kante,
in the middle, Kante out, and Nkunku out, and now Benzema.
Yeah,
I mean, that's one of the best five-a-sides in the world, really,
yeah,
those
100%.
players there. So, listen, everything's stacked against France at this stage, but you'd still expect them to come through out of the group. But it's a massive blow. Let us know in the comments who France should replace Benzema with.
How, just on Benzema though, man, like this is the Ballon d'Or winner, you know, and that's Mane out as well. So that's the Ballon d'Or winner and the Ballon d'Or runner-up out of the World Cup. How much do you think that's going to, like, I don't want to say taint the World Cup, but obviously you want the best players on show, and especially those two players. Okay, we've got the Ronaldo and Messi story going on, but aside from that, actually the next most important story would be the Ballon d'Or winner, and obviously the player runner-up in Sadio Mane. How much do you think that's going to have an impact on just the spectacle, man?
I think you said earlier, isn't it? It's the first time there's been no Ballon d'Or winner at the World Cup for a very, very long time, and I think when you look around on the promotional displays out here in Qatar, Benzema's on there, Mane's on there. So massive shame for not only themselves but for the tournament to not be, and for the fans to not be seeing these players. I mean, I was so excited to watch Sadio again, having seen him play so many times at Liverpool, but a massive shame.
Yeah, it is. And even from a France point of view, Benzema, you know, he was obviously exiled from the squad with loads of things going on off the pitch, but he came in the Euros, was their top scorer in that tournament, I think with 4 goals. He's had an amazing season last year to win himself the Ballon d'Or, and this would have been like, do you know what I mean? If he goes and has a good World Cup, even imagine they won it with Benzema there, it kind of like just
would have been the best year ever.
100%. If you're talking about individual calendar year of what's possible, potentially up there with the best.
Do you think this is him done now for France? Because we said earlier,
approaching
34, approaching 35. I mean, as we said, he's probably not going to play in another World Cup. Maybe could squeeze one last Euros.
I think he could squeeze a Euros in for sure. I mean, what would he be, 36 then? Yeah. I don't see why not. He can't play in a few years' time. Still in great shape. Looks after himself incredibly well. Yeah. You know, we were discussing before that. I kind of think Benzema's older than that.
Yeah,
you think he's in the you think he's in the Ronaldo camp, the 36, 37 camp, and he's not. He's 34, which. At the elite level, what these guys are, like Lewandowski, Benzema, Ronaldo, these types of players, it's not that old, Messi. So, yes, it might be his last World Cup. Where would Benzema be? What sort of condition he's going to be at 38? Maybe he might not be a starter, but he could be in the squad at 38. But definitely the Euros.
Well, Giroud's getting on as well,
and he's still doing it.
You know, it's not as if they've got a plethora of young strikers to really pick from.
Before we move on and obviously talk about Qatar and different things, I wanted to talk about people talking about how, like, obviously he's injured, so like this means that the World Cup, this is why it shouldn't be in the winter, and this is why it's so hard on players. If I'm honest, I think that's nonsense. I think that if you deep it like this, right, what would be worse? Benzema played pretty much every club game available to him last year. Won the Champions League, won La Liga. I don't know how they've done in the Cup, but, you know, done all the qualification for this. So he played a lot of games, right? That means we're saying that we should allow these players, what would be better for these players, fitness-wise, would be to play the whole season, which is traditional, what happens, get to the summer, and then you say, right, you got a week or two off, and then you're off with the national team. Not even 2 weeks, probably straight off with the national team, or a few days off, and then you're in camp after playing the best part of 50 games, burnt out. That's when you're going to get hamstring injuries. That's when you're going to get little tears, little niggles. And I think we've played, what, a third of the season? We played 13 games, 14 games in the Premier League.
Say 20 including Champions League.
20 including, you know what I mean? If anything, you know, he's playing competitive football only last week. He's in his groove. This could have happened to them playing away at Betis. This could have happened to them playing away at Valladolid. Do you know what I mean? In the league. So I don't buy into the fact that, the players are dropping like flies because now the World Cup's here.
The French players will feel like that though, because as we said, massive names out.
100%. But what my point is that could have just happened.
Oh no, I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
I agree with you.
Like, what's worse, playing a whole bunch of games, getting to the end of it, and then arriving, you know, fatigued, mentally tired, having to play at that level, or this is actually the beginning of the season. I think people forget that. So mentally, yes, you know, travelling, being away, far distances, heat, stuff like that. There are other factors, but I think trying to do that, I think it's a bit lazy to go, this World Cup being in the winter is ruining all the players. Well, scientifically, no, it's not, because they would have been playing a hell of a lot of games over this period.
I agree.
You know?
Let us know in the comments if you agree. Of course, today is the start of the World Cup.
Yes.
First game, Qatar versus Ecuador. We're going to be there. Can't wait to see the opening ceremony and just to see a ball kicked. I think you know, it will be a really momentous occasion when that whistle goes and the ball is kicked. I think maybe people will really start to focus on the football then. So I'm massively excited, and obviously Qatar people are as well. I mean, they've met 3 times, Qatar and Ecuador, in the past. Perfect record, really. Drawn 1, lost 1, won 1, so it's very even. But they're playing tonight at the Al Bat Stadium, and they currently have, this is their home stadium in Qatar.
Yeah.
They've played their last 3 games there with an aggregate scoreline of 9-0.
Look at that, mate. Fortress.
Well, yeah,
it's a fortress
at the minute.
Yeah.
So Qatar will be going into this one excited. Almez Ali is the top scorer in his side's victorious 2019 Asia Cup win. He's the main man up front. 9 goals from 10 shots in targets in 7 games. It's the most.
He's got 9 goals from 10 shots in target
in the Asia Cup in 2019.
It's not a bad conversion rate, and they won that as well.
And they did. But if you're looking from an Ecuador standpoint, that left-hand side is super experienced, but also got that young energy as well. So you've got Estepinian, who we've seen in the Premier League now, really tearing
Brighton,
it up. Caicedo again at Brighton. And then Enner Valencia as well.
Veteran, man.
Veteran, 33 years old, striker now. Used to play for West Ham. So on that right-hand side, it's going to be maybe an issue for Qatar.
Yeah, I think this is, again... This is the game that both of these two teams, right, both of these two nations are looking at as their best chance of a win. You know, I think it's Senegal and Holland are in the group, Netherlands are in the group with them, and they're more daunting challenges for both teams. So if they're looking at any option of even trying to come second, you know, you'd presume that Holland and Senegal will obviously be top of the group. But if there's going to be an inkling as to what else could happen, if there's going to be a shock, you got to win this game here. This is their best chance. And with Qatar being the home nation, the host nation, it's the opening ceremony. You spoke about how clinical they've been at home, and what a fortress it's been in recent times, coming off the back of winning the Asia Cup in 2019 as well. I saw that they've beaten quite a few Central America teams as well recently. They've had longer to prepare for this tournament, playing in a lot of European than the European teams, playing a lot of friendly games to build up to this. So the whole nation's going to be behind them. The whole of Qatar, rightly so, is going to be behind them. And not just that, this is the first time there's been a World Cup in an Arabic country, in a Muslim country as well. So you think of the demographic of people in and around the other countries. If you're talking about Abu Dhabi, you're talking about Dubai, you're talking about other countries, Saudi Arabia maybe, they're all going to be, maybe not Saudi Arabia actually because they're a different nation, but there's going to be a lot of teams that haven't made the World Cup that are countries similar to Qatar who are going to be behind them, coming to the game as well. So I think that's going to be fascinating. And Ecuador, they're going to have a tough game. A really, really tough game. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it, man.
Like you said yesterday, that away day feeling of you're going into someone else's home. This isn't your
going into ground. The Lions then and there.
But again, they're going to bring the support. But I think for Qatar, if they do win this game, it just sets us up for an amazing tournament full of shocks, turns and twists. We were looking at some of the players for Qatar earlier. Yeah. I mean, a massively experienced team actually. A lot of these guys are in the late 20s, early 30s. Some of them have got 170 caps.
Unbelievable.
For their country.
Imagine saying you've nearly played 200 times.
I think Ramos for Spain is like on 180, 190.
Insane. Like, you can't take that sort of stuff for granted, the longevity of that. He's a Qatari legend. Yeah. Has to be. Playing that many games for the national team as well. And actually, just to flip it back to Ecuador, they actually nearly didn't make it to this World Cup.
Very close.
They've been embroiled in legal battles. I think it's Castillo, one of their players. There was a legal battle because he was actually born in Colombia, but he's falsified his documents with his date of birth and where he was born. And you had, I think, Peru and Chile sort of saying, what's going on here?
As you would. Your teams around them saying, well,
we haven't made it.
We want to get in.
We want to get in.
Need to penalise.
And it's gone to the arbitration of sport, the Court of Arbitration of Sport. And they've deemed that actually, yes, it's true, he has falsified his documents, but the penalty is not being kicked out of this World Cup. The penalty is actually starting at a 3-point deficit in the qualification for the 2026 World Cup, which is crazy.
Forget about that by
100%, which is astounding. And then the Ecuador team have not even selected Castillo, even though he's played through the qualification period to get them here.
How would you feel if you were him?
I think you've got to feel hard done, but I mean, from his point of view, okay, cool, he's falsified the papers and there's problems there, so you could argue that he should never have been there, but obviously on a personal for him, he's going to think, well, I was good enough to help get Ecuador to these finals, but I'm deemed, because of what's happened, you kind of want to throw me to the wayside. I'm not going to profess to know a lot about him and how well he's played in the lead up to them getting here, but I know he has played it, and now they've obviously decided, listen, we'll take the 3-point deficit, and they've got an 88 grand fine as well. So really interesting to find out that actually Ecuador were very nearly not even in this.
And a 3-point deficit means that you kind of have to win absolutely every game
just to have a chance. Of making the
and
next.
You still might not get through.
Exactly. So yeah.
And Ecuador looking to beat their last best performance at a World Cup, which was 2006. When they got to the round of 16 against England. David Beckham free kick won it for England that night, 1-0 I believe it was. Speaking of Qatar, Ecuador, let's get into the DR Sports prediction battle with Who Knows Wins. £125,000 to be won just in the group stages alone. Prizes to be won on every single World Cup game. Hit the link in the description, sign up, top up your account and make your pick. Start from playing as little as only £1 flex.
And you don't have to get them all right to win as well, you just have to get the most right as well.
So Who Knows Wins. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Right, let's see what Abby and Lee have gone for.
Oh, Lee, he's done it again.
Yeah, he has done it again.
I'm surprised he's not here in one of the corporate boxes, mate.
We might bump into it. Brilliant picture of Lee there wearing the 2006 England shirt with number 7 on. Oh. I actually asked him, has that got Beckham on? Because I didn't think Lee was that kind of guy.
Supporting Man United.
Yeah.
He's scoring free. I don't want him to do well at all, but look, as long as it ain't Harry Kane, it looks like he can get behind other players.
He looks like one of the players in this picture.
Lee Carsley.
Lee Carsley. Sorry, Lee, that wasn't my joke. I love you, mate. Right, he has gone for an Ecuador win.
Okay.
Quite different to what Abby's gone for. She's gone for a Qatar win in this opening fixture.
She's gone with the home team. Yeah.
So there's 10 picks that you pick from. We'll get through a couple more. He's going for quite a high-scoring game, over 2.5 goals.
Do you think it'll be a high-scoring game?
Well, Abby doesn't think so. She's gone for no. So again, Abby and Lee, very contrasting right here. Ecuador to take over 5.5 corners. Both of the guys have gone for no there. Penalties to be scored, no from Lee, no from Abby. And will there be a red card? Both gone for no's as well in their picks. So if you want to beat them, play along at home, download the link from the description and try and beat them and win some money.
100%, that's what it's about. It's about getting involved, it's about being interactive and seeing if you can beat us who are picking, and more importantly right now, Abby and Lee.
Absolutely. Well, listen, prediction for Qatar, Ecuador from yourself?
I'm going to go with a home win.
Are you?
Yes, I am. I think the Qatar, it will be huge for Qatar. I just think the occasion, I just think the energy in the stadium, the opening ceremony, I think that gets them the W. I'm going to say it's narrow. I'm going to say maybe 2-1. 2-1 Qatar I'm going to go for.
Well, the last time these two teams played, it was actually 4-3 to Qatar. So I'm going to go a bit more of a high-scoring game. Okay. I'm going to go with a 3-2 Qatar on this one. Now, we did mention earlier the standout players that Ecuador do have, and I think if they turn up, then it could be maybe a bit of a long night for Qatar. But the opening ceremony, just to be around there, the hype that surrounded this tournament so far, it's going to be just unforgettable to actually be here. We're literally witnessing history, right?
That's the key for me. I think, there's been so much made of this World Cup, but I think I'm going to go back to what you said at the top of the video, which is the fact that now we just want to see a ball kicked. Now we want to see goals flying in. We want to see results happening. Hopefully we want to see entertaining football. Obviously there's so much more to come. And no disrespect to these two nations, they're not obviously at the pinnacle of international football, but it's about now just getting the tournament started and goals flying in.
Absolutely. Goals are the currency of football,
100%.
as we all know. Let us know in the comments who you think is going to win this game, Qatar versus Ecuador, the first game, and then we'll be back tomorrow with more previews, more news, more updates for you in the daily
every morning.
Every morning. You got us up early, you don't even realise.
Yeah, the struggle. You do not know the struggle. Certain people were late.
Well, actually, okay, so last night, when you see the vlog, you'll see that we said, right, all downstairs for 8:30. I was downstairs at 8:33.
8:33, mate, 3 minutes. Poor attitude, it's the fine details.
But then we were waiting a while, weren't we?
But you didn't know that was going to happen.
No, I didn't.
Imagine he was there at 8:29. Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. Imagine. Stay locked throughout DR Sports, guys. As we've said, the first studio show is tonight, and the first vlog should be coming out soon as well. But the amount of content that we're going to be pumping out is quite something here, isn't it?
This is just the start, man. We better make sure we're ready for this, because there is an awful lot of games to cover in such a short space of time, and we're looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Like, comment and subscribe to DR Sports to follow us all the way throughout. AGT on Flex. We're going to get some shade, I think.
I'm out of here.
Take care.